Hi, and welcome to this video. Today, we'll dive into the essential aspects of licensing agreements. Whether you're drafting one or reviewing an agreement, understanding key clauses, common pitfalls, and practical templates can make a world of difference. Let's explore the most important components of licensing agreements with real world examples and some actionable tools. Now, licensing agreements are contracts where a licensor allows a licensee to use intellectual property under certain conditions. Whether it's a trademark, patent, or copyright, having a clear agreement can protect both parties and ensure everyone is on the same page. Today, we'll break it down clause by clause and provide real world examples and templates to make the process easier. Let's start with one of the most important clauses, the grant of license. This defines exactly what the licensee can do with the IP, where they can do it, and for how long. It is critical to be clear about whether the license is exclusive, non exclusive, or sole, and the territory where the license applies. Now, here you see a simple editable template you can adapt for your own needs. This is a basic template that outlines the essentials. Simply fill in the specifics of your agreement, what is being licensed, the type of license, territory, and the term length. The simple structure ensures clarity from the start. Now let's look at a common pitfall with the grant of license clause. Imagine a company granted a non exclusive software license but did not define the territory clearly. The licensee started selling internationally, which led to a conflict. To avoid this, always make sure to define territorial rights clearly in your agreement. Next is the trademark usage clause. This section specifies how the trademark should be used by the licensee and establishes quality control standards. It is important to set guidelines for product packaging, branding, and marketing. Let's look at a template for this one. Here you see a simple template you can use to ensure that the trademark is used correctly and that the licensor has control over the way it is represented. This helps protect the brand and ensures consistency in how it is perceived in the market. Let me read it out for you. The licensee agrees to use the trademark only in connection with product or service and in compliance with the quality control standards set by the licensor. The licensee must submit samples or marketing materials to the licensor for approval prior to use. Now let's take a quick scenario. What happens if the licensee uses the trademark beyond the agreed upon territory? The consequences could be serious. The licensor may terminate the agreement and seek legal recourse for breach of contract. It is important to define these terms to avoid any misunderstanding. Moving on to the termination clause, this part of the agreement outlines under what conditions the contract can be terminated, whether due to a breach of contract, failure to meet quality standards, or other reasons. Let's take a look at a template for this clause. Let me read it out first. Either party may terminate this agreement with X days written notice if the other party fails to comply with the terms of this agreement. Upon termination, the licensee shall immediately cease using the trademark and any materials associated with the license. Now, this is a simple termination clause template. It is important to specify the notice period and the actions that must be taken after termination, like ceasing the use of the trademark here. Without clear guidelines, you might run into issues with enforcement. Now let's look at a case where lack of quality control led to brand damage. A fashion brand granted a license for logo use but did not outline strict quality control measures. The licensee produced substandard products, causing brand reputation damage. This could have been prevented with a solid termination clause and clear quality standards. Now, next up, let's look at the royalty and payment terms clause. This specifies how the licensor will be paid and how often. Clear payment schedules and royalty calculations are crucial to avoiding financial disputes down the line. Let me read out the template for you. The licensee agrees to pay a royalty of X percentage of the net sales of the product or service on a quarterly annual basis. Payments will be made within X days of the end of each period. Now, this is a basic royalty template. By outlining the payment frequency and percentage of sales, you can ensure there is no confusion about financial expectations. Before entering into a licensing agreement, you need to identify and register your intellectual property. Let me give you a quick checklist to make sure you're covering all your bases. First, identify the intellectual property to be licensed, trademarks, patents, or copyrights. Second, confirm ownership and verify registration status. Third, ensure all necessary documentation is in place. For example, trademark registration certificate. Next, define the scope of the license. Is it exclusive or non exclusive? Finally, determine territorial rights. Then, outline the duration of the license. You can use this checklist to make sure you have covered all the critical steps in identifying and registering your intellectual property before you license it. This will help ensure the agreement goes smoothly. Finally, let's take a look at this simple flowchart of the licensing agreement process. From identifying your IP, negotiating terms, drafting and signing the agreement to monitoring compliance and renewal, this flowchart helps break down the process into manageable steps. I hope this video helped clarify the key aspects of licensing agreements. Now, the question is, are you ready to take your contract drafting skills to the next level? If you are, join our free 3-day online bootcamp where we'll dive even deeper into the art of drafting contracts, understanding legal clauses, and avoiding common pitfalls. This bootcamp is a perfect opportunity for you to learn hands on, get expert insights, and boost your career in contract drafting. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Sign up today. The link is in the description box and start building your future in contract law. I'll see you there.